Earlier today at Wade, a college border battle between CSS and UWS. Early in the first inning, this ball popped up into the air. Max Israel makes the diving catch for the out. A web gem keeps us scoreless. Saints now up to bat. A wild pitch allows Israel to race on home. He's safe at the plate, and he'll grab the first run and the lead for the Saints. Now in the third inning, Jackets' Noah D'Agostino cracking one to deep center field. Patty Kelly comes sliding on home, and Dante Westmiller also finding safety at the plate, slipping and sliding those Jackets, taking a 2-1 lead. Westmiller would grab another RBI. Later in the fourth inning, the Yellowjackets win their second straight border battle over the Saints, 11-3 your final score. The Saints softball team also on their home field today against St. Benedict. The Saints would fall behind the 8-ball down 9-0. Bailey Gleich cuts into the deficit with an RBI single to right field. Jaden Lind would keep that line moving with another opposite field hit. Santana Heisey crosses the plate for the second run of the inning, but it was the St. Benedict's day on the diamond today. Top of the third, that squeeze play executed to perfection. The Bennies scored 12 runs in 5 innings to take the victory in both games of their doubleheader against the Saints. UMD softball hosting Bemidji State this afternoon. That dog enjoying the nice warm weather at Mulaski. Top of the second for Ashley Mandel. She'll freeze the batter to end the frame. UMD up 3-0, preserving that lead. Bottom half of the inning now, Daphne Evans hitting it high and far and right over that left field fence. That 2-run home run for Evans, and UMD well in control. Third inning of action now, and it's Taylor Dowie Duck getting a hold of one. That one bounces off the outfield wall. A stand-up double for her. She would go on to score later in the inning. UMD takes the 10-0 victory in 5 innings. They also won the first game of this doubleheader 10-1.